Every single time I hear new information about how powerful Xbox Anaconda is going to be, I just kind of shake my head in disbelief. Is it really possible Microsoft is going to cram this much power into a console for $500 or $600? Well, according to a new leak about the Xbox Scarlett hardware specs or what they're targeting for 2020, that may seem to be the case, and I have to talk about this. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Randall Thor 19, here again with another video. If you guys would do me a favor, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more content. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, I think we're getting pretty close to knowing the actual specs of both the Anaconda and the Lockhart real soon, but Jez Corden had an awesome breakdown of all the information on Windows Central, and Dealer Gaming also put out a great video on his channel where he can break down the specs of these consoles way better than I can. So I recommend you kind of check out both things. They'll be linked in the description below. So we all know Anaconda's a thing, Lockhart's a thing. One's the high-end SKU, one's the low-end SKU. But what are they targeting power-wise? Now, Lockhart's 4 teraflops. Now, the teraflop situation here isn't exactly the same as it was with Polaris on the X. So while they say this is 4 teraflops for Lockhart, that doesn't mean it's less powerful than the X. I keep on seeing people saying that, but that's not how this works. Lockhart is basically going to run circles around the Xbox One X. But that's not really the reason why you're here, right? You don't want to hear me talk about the cheaper $300 version of Microsoft's next-gen system. And yes, I do think it's going to be $300. You want to hear about the big boy, and that is the Anaconda. And according to Jez Corden and everything I've heard from people that tell me things, Anaconda is looking to target 12 teraflops of a Navi GPU. And it's basically been told to me that Anaconda is basically equivalent to a 20 Ti in power level. Now, that is utterly insane to me because a 2080 Ti is a GPU card that goes for $1,200 right now. And I sit here and think to myself, how is this even possible what Microsoft is doing here? They have a brand new CPU that Jez is reporting is 8 CPU cores, 16 threads, clocked at around 3.5 gigahertz with Lockhart being a little bit less. But they're putting in a GPU that rivals the best that the PC can offer. That is mind-blowing to me. How much exactly are we going to have to pay to get this? Is it really going to be $500 like we thought from the very beginning? Or are we looking at maybe potentially $600, and that's the reason why the Lockhart exists. So Microsoft can kind of give us a cheaper alternative because they know that sticker shock of Anaconda when people see it and they see, holy cow, this is $600. I don't know about that. It's insane what Microsoft is doing here, but it's not even just the power of the system. It's the idea that when Anaconda comes out at the end of the year, and yeah, I know I'm probably saying Anaconda wrong, as I normally do, so you guys can flame me all you want in the comments, go right ahead, have at it. It's the idea that this system, as probably as well as the PlayStation 5, because I've heard that that is also 2080 in power level, that these two systems are going to be better than 99% of PC gamers' gaming rigs. That blows my mind that we started this gen with consoles that were completely obsolete to what PC gaming was doing, and now we're starting next gen with consoles that have a beefy CPU, an insane power level on the GPU, and SSDs built in, which I'm going to talk about right here because that's the next part of this that is just blowing my mind right here, right? In the article, Windows Central is saying that both Lockhart and Anaconda will have the same NVMe SSD proprietary tech, which will dramatically decrease load speeds, basically eliminating loading completely. Games with load times anywhere up to a minute will be reduced to mere seconds as a result of these SSDs. And this is the coolest part about maybe this entire article, because we've heard about the power targets, we've heard about the SSDs, and the elimination of loading is something Xbox has talked about, and PlayStation. All that stuff sounds really cool to me. And Dealer Gaming even had an example in his video where he said he heard Sea of Thieves basically was going to load in 3 to 5 seconds. When that game right now on the Xbox One X takes a good minute and 20 seconds to load, if that's what next gen is going to produce with the amazing graphics it's going to throw out there, then we're in for a treat. But it's this inclusion of Project xCloud that is so smart by Microsoft. A lot of people out there are really down on game streaming, especially with how Stadia has debuted. But Microsoft has always positioned xCloud as a complement to the Xbox console itself. If you want to be able to take your games anywhere, you can do so. And one of the biggest problems with this generation is install times. You know, you want to play a game, you download it, it's 80 gigabytes. Well, goodbye the next 5 hours, depending on your internet speeds. You're going to have to wait to play it. Or maybe you're one of those gamers that loves physical games. You go to GameStop, you pick up a game on the cheap, or you're there for a new game release, and you put the game disc in. You gotta wait. It's gotta install all that data, and then after it's done installing that data, we have day one updates now. Call of Duty was like 130 gigabytes with like a 30 gigabyte day one patch. So you buy the game, you put it in the disc tray, and you have to basically make 10 sandwiches before you can actually play. But Microsoft has an interesting solution to this problem, and that's with the inclusion of Project xCloud across all Xbox systems that will allow you to start gaming via streaming while waiting for your games to download locally. Next Gen is all about saving your time, increasing read speeds by gigabytes per second, while also providing cutting-edge visuals that will elevate games to all new heights. Now, we already know that Xbox Scarlett is going to be backwards compatible with all 4 generations of Xbox history, starting from the OG Xbox to the Xbox 360 games in backwards compatibility program, as well as every single Xbox One title. So when you pick up your Anaconda or Lockhart, presumably in November of next year, you're going to have a huge library of games waiting for you. And quite possibly, a lot of those games will be updated without really needing any work from Microsoft or the developer. Just like with the Xbox One X, games with unlocked frame rates and dynamic resolution will perform much better on Scarlett, once again being able to take advantage of that improved hardware. So basically, you're going to have a library of hundreds, perhaps thousands of games that suddenly are going to look and play better than ever before, and that is absolutely music to my ears. But I still have to look at all this information that we're talking about today and say to myself, all this has a cost. How much are we willing to pay from a GPU that is basically a 2080 Ti, something that goes for $1,000, to a brand new Zen 2 CPU clocked at 3.5 gigahertz, to proprietary SSD technology, basically eliminating loading completely? How much is this thing going to cost? $500? $600? $700? Now, of course, scratch that. It definitely ain't going to be $700. You can mark it down for either $500 or $600. $500 would be absolutely fantastic because I think that will drive a lot of people up the wall. That'd be a crazy value for the type of performance and power that this system is going to bring. And then Microsoft is also going to try to reach out and reach the people that, really don't want to worry too much about 4K. You don't have a 4K television. You don't really need it. You're good rocking your 1080p TV. You don't want to spend too much money. Microsoft's got you covered with Xbox Lockhart, a system that I think will be priced $200 cheaper either way from Anaconda. So whether Anaconda's $500 or $600, Lockhart will be $300 or $400, effectively giving it a great price disparity. All that, and I haven't even talked about ray tracing. One of the biggest new features coming to next generation. Is it coming to both Anaconda and Lockhart? Only time will tell, but I do have to wonder how much of a hit those dynamic reflections will take to performance. Will most of these next-gen games give us an option to play it at 4K 60 and then perhaps 1080p 30 with ray tracing on? I'm really interested in seeing how this all plays out, but man, reading all this tech talk from Windows Central, from Dealer, has got me incredibly excited about next gen. And the fact that Anaconda is basically going to be a super powerful PC, but for $500 or $600. So I'm going to ask you guys this. Do you think it's possible? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you really enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share this out, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified immediately when I drop new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.